When I first saw you, which was like an hour ago or so, in person, I mean, I was really stricken by your beauty. And so my first question is, when could you say you noticed how beautiful you are?
What? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Like, when do you think you became conscious to the fact that, like, your beauty is very striking?
I think that hasn't come yet, to be honest. Like, sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not there. But of course, it's nice to hear people say it. I feel very nice. I'm not sure how to take in that compliment yet. But I think it was more to do with my sister. Okay, not my sister, she's like my cousin, but it's weird to call her my cousin. She's really my sister. Yes, under the same name. Her name is Julia also. And so we always used to have this thing, because we were born very close to each other. Our family has twins.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. So my other sisters, younger sisters, or rather cousins, are twin sisters. And so I think we always played off, and because we were born fairly close to each other, like I think, is it 10 or 9 months difference? I forget. Yes, but so yeah, and we always used to like compare who is the older one, who is the younger one, who is the pretty one, who is the beautiful one, and things like that. So we always used to hype ourselves up like that. So so with me and Iris, so I was like, yeah, like, okay, let's see, let's ask people. And people would say either some days should be the pretty one, some days should be the beautiful one, some days it should be me. Yeah. So it was always like, those are the only two options. It was either you're pretty or you're beautiful. So there's no other option aside from that. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. And then I guess, like when you take a fire photo and you're like, and you post it on interwebs. You guys are like, oh my gosh, she looks so... Yes. So that is, at that point, I think, And then I also have this habit of watching the kind of TV I watch also. Yeah, I watch a lot of drag content. So, and those, they're always fabulous. They're always feeling themselves. So I kind of try to carry that into my day-to-day life.
Yeah. Because it shows in your personality. It shows in the way you laugh, in the way you look. And that's beautiful. I mean, I've always wondered, Jagero, who is this girl he's always talking about? So to see you and see your personality in real time, it's so beautiful. And I asked about your beauty because, your skin, it's beautiful. It's magnificent. Growing up, I've always looked at women who look like you, and I've always felt like this is my standard for beauty. Like, women who look like this is what Africa is. This is who I am. This is who I've always wanted to be. But before we started recording, we were just talking about like the differences in, our skin colors and different treatment according to the tribes. And I've also talked about with Jagero about that. So I guess where the question is headed is probably towards colorism. Have you ever felt different existing as a woman with a skin color so rich like yours? Have you ever felt different existing in different societies, different circles? Maybe tell us a little bit about that.
Well, first of all, yes, I think to begin, let's pull up, come back and selector. Yes, for one thing, I don't believe that it's very hard to recognize beauty without having it. So when you call me beautiful, you're essentially calling yourself beautiful. Oh, and I co-sign that. Yeah. Can confirm.
Real recognize
game, very that. So yes, we are in the presence of a beautiful space.
Yes. And we're beautiful women.
We are beautiful women. Need to bask in it. Like, just take a moment. Actually, just take a moment, guys. Let's just feel beautiful.
It's true. Yeah. And it's so interesting. Before you answer me, sorry, let me just add. It's so interesting how most of these feelings, like, they have to be within for them to even become without. Like, you have to truly believe that this is how I feel for it to start showing outside. And yeah, what you said, as is within, it is without. So
for sure. So yeah, I mean, to also go back to your question.
Yes.
There's times where you feel it, and there are times you don't feel it. I mean, there are days you wake up and you're like, oh, what's going on there? And then there are times you walk past the mirror and you're like, let me walk past again. Yes. Yeah. But yeah, in existing in our, especially in colorism, so I am very like, I like to joke with my friends, I'm very melanin empowered, as I like to call myself. So yeah, and initially, when you look around, most people prefer, lighter skin. Most people, it's just a thing.
Yes.
And I have no issues with that. Because there is beauty in all this. Like, there's a reason why there is so much variety and all that. So if you're able to acknowledge your own, you're able to see others, and let that be that. Unfortunately, that is a utopian world in which we don't currently live in. And so some people are like, and it's almost, and I think the thing that shocked me is not so much that there is colorism. It's how sometimes people get annoyed when you don't co-sign that. Like when you don't feel bad because, I'm dark skinned, or I don't want to change my dark skin, or rather I celebrate it, or whatever it is that you celebrate about yourself. Your skin, your looks, your watch, your shape, everything.
Yeah.
When sometimes the shock is when people feel like you should not enjoy the thing about yourself that is not the common standard. And I think that's where I get annoyed. Have your preferences. If you prefer the light skinned, do you? If you prefer dark skinned, do you? If you cast something in the middle, whichever the case may be, that is a you problem. It's none of my business. However, if you're going to catch a feeling when somebody is enjoying and celebrating their own beauty and you're busy catching a feeling, like, what are we catching a feeling? What's the problem?
Yeah.
See, you're just looking.
Like,
shida yako ni nini? Kwa nini uko na udaku? Mind your business. Allow people to prosper.
Yeah.
So I did feel it to a point, and then I think again, thankful for my family background and everything. We celebrated each other, we loved each other. So I'm really, really thankful that I had that supportive background. And so when you're starting to be out in the world and people are telling you, no, you should feel bad. At home, you're like, no, you should feel fire. So I'm thankful that was the case for me. And then, so now when I was I was like, yes, I feel fabulous, and that's what I am. Yeah,
and it's true. So let me ask, how old would you say you are when you started to notice like there's a clear difference in preference? Because I think as women, maybe it starts to come about somewhere around puberty, where you're more aware that maybe okay, let me say for me, I noticed I was a bit different when, when the boys katia you and you can tell they like, they even have a name for them. They call them the ugly friend. The girl who, they normally say the ugly friend anakuanga shida. Wale wasichana warembo wakikatiwa, the ugly friend is always there. She doesn't want to talk to you. Have you seen those jokes moving around?
Yeah.
And most times I used to wonder, I saw the thing that's in common with the person they call the ugly friend is usually the darker skinned girl. Or most times it's the Luo girls, like women who are... It's us who are darker.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to ask, now I'd like to know, when was it that you could tell maybe there was a clear difference for you, that people feel a certain way about you and they're trying to make you feel that there's a difference?
I'm trying to remember many moons ago. I think it was actually much, much earlier. I think even like pre-adolescent times, I think, is when I started to notice it. Because it's not that like people recognize the beauty. It's like it's the slight put down. Like, you're beautiful for a dark-skinned person.
Oh, yes.
Like, so it's not that the qualifier is only... Is that the word? English is disappeared. But anyway, it's like, it's put under like, yes, you can be beautiful, but umejaribu. For dark-skinned, umejaribu. And you have tried. It feels like that.
Yeah.
So you're like,
so am I beautiful or am I?
Or it's like there's beauty levels and then it's like kwa number last, like kwa second last. Like what is that? So that, like, sometimes those would be the compliments that I would get. And then other times it would be like, and I think, do I remember? This is TBT. And then even like the guys who would like go for me would be like, they wamechoka na tusichana twingine wako na maringo sana. So it's almost like, you're low maintenance, you're automatically low maintenance, you're automatically all these things. And and then the worst part of that is that when you feel like comfortable and you don't need much, because again, like you're just chill. So it's almost like, am I confirming that? Am I doing wrong by not being more high mid? And that sometimes becomes the resistance. You purposely get out of your way to be either more boisterous, more visible, more crazy, as a resistance to that, because you're proving to yourself and to others, hey, this is not the color of the skin. The color is not the qualifier here.
Yeah.
We are all divas inside if we want to be.
Yeah.
Yes. So I am now forced to out diva everyone else.
Yes.
So that I can get over the barrier of this is the shade of skin that I'm carrying.
And it's so interesting to listen to you because it's bringing so many revelations in that, like, once you reach that out diva moment, another problem comes up, which is that just the fact that you're a Black woman now, you become an angry Black woman. Mm-hmm. Everyone starts to see you as being too out there, being too vocal, it's like you're seeking for attention when really you're just trying to say, hey, I'm here. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I've had to fight all this for you guys to see me, and now that I'm here again, you're boxing me again.
I mean, it's a thing that goes on. Like, even something that I've seen is people go to extremes. Either you completely shut down or you're completely on the edge. And people want to box you in either or. You're not allowed. It's almost like we are not allowed to be both at the same time.
It's like we can't be on a spectrum. We can't just be normal.
Very that. So, I've just, because again, the stereotype is that, yes, we are loud and we are what. And if that is you, in fact, be louder. In fact, if that is the OS that was loaded on you, please be louder.
Yeah.
Do the upgrade.
Yes.
Be louder, be more voice, be more visible. If that is what is going on inside and that is what is necessary for you to live in your skin the way you feel comfortable, imagine. Please do that.
I love that.
If you're on the other side and you're like, okay, I'm more chill, I'm more whichever the case, it's better than the other. I think people need to go towards, it's not that I should be louder or I should be more quiet. I feel that we should be going towards, we should be more authentic. And by authentic, I mean, you should leave a situation feeling like, okay, yeah, that was me. Not like, I had to, where you're being forced to do things or to say things or to act in a manner where you're either reinforcing or trying to step so far back away from the stereotype to deny yourself. I mean, it's a lot of hurt that we cause ourselves is partly based on what people have put on us that we have to carry. I mean, think of it like when you start going to the gym, you get sore. Like you do the workout, you get sore this day, next day, you get sore. And then you keep working out until it's no longer painful.
Yes.
But you see, your threshold for pain is different at the time you've been in the gym for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Your threshold for even the weights you carry, for the workouts you do, is different from the person who's starting today.
Completely.
So you can't put those two here and say, you should be like that other one, chill. No, I've been carrying this weight, I'm used to carrying this weight, this is my standard, this is my zero. So you can't expect that one to say, go negative. How? It is difficult.
I love everything you're saying because I feel, your laugh is so cute. Because sorry, I throw babe. Because I feel like the advice you're giving, like it cuts across all sectors of life. I feel like this is how, like, your authenticity is how you should show up in your relationships, for your money, in your work, in your friendships, in the things you do for fun. Yeah. But then most of these things, a problem I have, like something that I realized is difficult for people is that most of these things are just words we are throwing around. It's like telling someone with anxiety, si uache tu kuogopa. Like truly it can make sense for someone who knows how to deal with anxiety. Like, if you've been able to deal with it, if you have anxiety and now you know how to deal with it, you know that it's true. Acha tu kuogopa actually works. Like, but then someone who doesn't know how to come out the other side, it seems like it's just words. So what would you say to someone, especially to girls? I love speaking to the girlies because I feel like growing up, I didn't really have a consistent or rather present mother figure. My mom was there, but she wasn't really there emotionally because she always had to be out there trying to provide for the family. Yeah. So I never really had that emotional depth. Most of the things I've learned through experience on my own. So now what would you say to women across all sorts of ages who are trying to figure out, what does being authentic mean? Like, what is she saying? People just say be authentic, be authentic.
Authentic kumaanisha nini?
But like, hey,
What is
authentic.
authentic?
What is it? What does it mean? Because sometimes our trauma responses are how we show up, and we think that's our personality. Kama Mimi.
Yes.
Vile Alia. I kept checking for, if the mic is on. And we were trying to explain, it's a fear I have because if I've been recording for long and I didn't check, if I don't keep checking if the mic was on, that's time lost. That's footage lost.
There's something on the line. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's what would you say to women across all ages, across all sorts of diversity? Hii kuko authentic ni nini na mtu anafikaje hapo? Na unaanzaje hata unaitoa wapi?
It's a daily work, by the way.
Yeah.
I feel like actually let me contradict myself. It's the least work.
Yeah.
Let's put it like that. I feel like being authentic is where you put the least amount of work to show up or to
as
be
yourself
or something. Where there's the least energy expended. Because usually when you're trying, there's energy you're trying, there's effort, there's all these things, and you're trying because you don't want to be perceived as the angry black woman, so you just have this constant resting bitch face, and then you don't want to be seen as your so you start shouting and be like, hey.
Yeah.
So it's very much where you have the, like, is it like, the rivers, they follow the path of least resistance, and they flow and they create beautiful things. So where I feel like authenticity is following the path of least resistance, meaning if I wake up in the morning and what is the first thing you do? Okay, if you're not doom scrolling, assuming that's not the first thing.
Yeah.
Assuming you're not doom scrolling.
Siata uonge ujewe si bubu. Do something fast.
Do something. Yeah. So assuming it's not one of those doom scrolling days that you're in bed.
Yeah.
But you wake up and you're like, oh yeah, I have to go and do this. When you wake up, you don't consciously tell yourself, sit up. You don't consciously, actually, sometimes even tell yourself to go to that phone to doom scroll. It's the path of least resistance. It's a thing. So when you're going and you're going to step into a situation where you're like, oh, I must show this. And so you hide effort, you hide, you press, you conceal, expending energy for not being where you really want to be. I feel like that is where we get ourselves into situations where we have those regrets. You're like, I wish I would have. And not like in the fun way, like kiss or shower conversation.
Yeah.
Like, it's those ones of like, no, I didn't show up the way I wanted to. When you feel that, because it's only, you're only, what's it called? You're the only one who knows if, did I step into that situation authentically? And if deep down you know the answer is no, then it's no. It's not about how you saw me. It's not about how they saw me. If deep down I know, your situation, it was giving something else and not me, I'll know. And so when you are aware of that, it's not just like, okay, now then switch. It's like, make a step.
Yes.
Maybe next time, instead of like, oh, Nini, I must come here, I must wear all the tight clothes so that my audience can see the thing. If you feel like that is the day we are wearing Nini a bui, please, be in your fabulousness and come with that.
Yes.
And say, maybe that's the step. It could be something so small, but that one step is the thing that allows you to say, okay, I can do this. And then you take another one, I can do this. And then you take another one, I can do this. Because that process is different for many people. For some people, they need that shock therapy. It needs to be like, today, tomorrow, I've done something totally drastic, totally different. For others, it's like, it needs to be a step-to-step, gradual thing. So whatever your situation, whatever your learning curve is, I think your path to authenticity is just take one step where you feel safe. Because again, some of our steps, existing in the world as it is, comes with a certain set of challenges for those of the XX people. So take a small step, even if it's for yourself. If it means waking up and in your small private space between you and facing the world, there's something you can do for yourself in the safety of your home that makes you feel more authentic, do that one thing. It doesn't need an audience. Maybe sometimes it does. No matter what, make that one step. Yeah.
I love listening to women. I could listen all day about anything because something I learned a lot. I keep learning a lot from women is not only just the authentic, because the women who are bold and they show up, I'm consistently looking up to them. And then I start to see how the authenticity rubs off on me, because seeing people show up exactly as themselves also gives you the confidence to just be yourself, even if it's scary. But what could you say are some of the influences that you've had in your life that have consistently pushed you to become yourself? Is it the things you consume, the content you consume?
Yes.
Is it me as your amazing husband? What is it that pushes you primarily to just be able, because you see, even showing up as yourself means the people around you accord you the space to be able to, on some level, they kind of show you, hey babe, it's okay for you to be you.
Yeah. So, okay, one, yes, it's the environment for sure. Yes, I feel like I have been very privileged to be in the environments that I have been in. It's not that life has been easy, but I am thankful for the what I have been given. And yeah, I'm also thankful because when it can go left anytime. Right? So I am thankful for that there's the environment with all the things you're saying.
Yeah.
I think one of the best things I've had is one, of course, I've spoken about my family, even though, yes, the roasting is real, but also the love is real. So there's that. And then I've also been really, really thankful to have really great friends. People, like all my friends, are people who have, unasikia, like, they will just tell you, like, what's going on?
Very vocal, communicative.
Very vocal, very telling you, like, and they are themselves. You see them being themselves.
Yes.
So like, so it is possible. Because so and so can be themselves, it means that also me, I can be myself. Sometimes we want that permission because we don't feel like we can do that. So we want that permission that if so and so can be themselves, then even me, I can, even me.
Yeah.
So yes, it's the environment of things. And then also something else I think is really important is the quiet influences of life. And in terms of people and situations. So an example I'll give is of my mom. So my mom, by the way, no shade.
Disclaimer, mama.
No shade, mom. But yeah, she started off working. Like she was contributing to the home. She used to work, do all those things. And then at a certain point, she stopped working and she became a housewife. And with her relationship with my dad, even growing up, like we joke about it, but I actually didn't picture myself like, married with a whole child. Like, what are those? So I didn't picture it, but because I looked at their relationship and while there were highlights, I was like, I don't want that for me. But over time, over years, sometimes it's that thing of like, you have to see it in hindsight, where I saw her quiet strength. Fine, she didn't leave. There are situations that were tough. She didn't leave. But in her staying, she exhibited a strength that I don't think a lot of people appreciate. Now, this is not to say that if you're in an abusive relationship today, please get out.
Yeah, this is...
Please. If the situation is not, please get out. Remove yourself.
Immediately. Yeah.
Immediately. Yes, I'm just giving an example of what I saw. So I saw a strength in her that, not of staying power, but of holding space for others. She always had space for someone else. Where she was getting it, she will say that she was on her knees to God in prayer. And by the way, God answered her prayer. People like we like to joke about the previous generation of women saying, yes, they were very oppressed. That is true. But they held their strength. They held fort. It was, for some women, it wasn't a healthy environment for them and for their children. But for some of those women, they really held fort. They held space for their children. They said, even me, I'm in this situation, but you won't be in that situation.
Yes.
The advice I'm giving you, you should not find yourself here. You see? And then there was also that quiet strength. She never really vocally was like, all this. She was very chill. She was gangster, yes. Like she'd get away with her 1, 2, 3s. But because of her quietness, you think like, she's just nice.
She's
so
a sweetie.
No, my mom is very gangster. She's very like, don't cross her.
Yeah.
But in that quietness and that strength, I was like seeing, oh, you can be strong, you can make moves without having to be big about it. And I think that's something we don't appreciate. Yes, if it is like that, the thing I said at the beginning, if it is in you to be bold, please be as bold as you can be.
Yes.
If that is not your bag, be whatever it is in your bag to be. And so it's those quiet influences of seeing people, or even just how people are operating. Like, even like, put aside the example of my mom. I'll take an example of another wonderful woman. I've talked about, anyway, like, I have to go through the list. all the wonderful women. No, but another person that has come to strength is, actually they're sisters. So it's Catherine and Wanji, they're sisters. I met them through yoga, working at Africa Yoga Project. And so they grew up in Bangu, Karibangi.
My next question was Bangu.
They grew up in Kariobangi.
Yeah.
But when you see how these women come together for their community, they are like, hey, you guys, we are going to teach a class, we're going to sit with these young moms, we're going to provide them support. And the way they network, like if you see the community they've built for themselves out of a very, very tough situation, their story they will be the ones to share. But out of a very tough situation, these women have not only become strong, have not only become very vocal, but they practice something we like to call in yoga called stirasuka, firmness and softness, where there's a time to be firm and do things, and then there's a time to be soft. And it's never that you must be one on the other. Because like, essentially, like even if you're in a yoga class, if you are too firm, you're going to have a difficult time in class. If you're too soft, you're going to have a difficult time in class. You have to balance. That in one part of your body here, you need to engage. In one part of you need to soften.
Relax.
That. So that play on it and how they've expressed that in their communities, where they're like, hey, we're here to support. But let one of those ladies in the class plead at you, we are doing this. They are with the quickness also.
Yeah.
So that.
Balance.
And so we need to acknowledge, the firm, strong, bold energies, and we also need to acknowledge the soft tone energies. I feel like both of those need to be acknowledged at the same time for people to really feel like, oh, okay, yes, we are in sync, we're in flow, we're in things. And those are the things that help allow you to be yourself. If you're in that moment where you need to be held, you need that comforting touch. You need to be like, and yeah, it has been a day. I just need to, I need to vent. I need to let, whatever that is, you need to like sink it. Like the way animals do, they sink into a soft place and then they go. Or like they shake things out when they're agitated. That. So you need to create an environment or have an environment of have access to a place where you can be in your softness, you can be in your firmness. And now that allows you to be more authentic, I think.
My goodness.
I think.
Sijui ufungue kanisa utuitishe sadaka 310.
By the way, what would be my number?
Tutume 310.
I only deal in wire transfers.
I would send the money. I would. Send money. You said something interesting about how you never really thought about, marriage and kids before. It wasn't something that, it wasn't really a plan in when you thought about life. So tell me a little bit about it. Where did it come from? How did you end up here married to me all these years?
Let me just be.
Tell them about me and how.
I think so. I mean, at first I was like, okay, yes, like growing up, that is the story that like.
That's what we're fed.
You start out, you're growing up. You're like, okay, there needs to be a mom here, there needs to be a dad here, there needs to be many, many babies. Okay, so that is the good. But then you're like, this thing of the babies, I don't think is, I'm not sure about it. So in time, I kind of grew out of it and I was like, I'm just going to live life. I'm going to enjoy myself.
Around how old were you at this time?
No, this was, I think, by the time I was thinking like maybe kids' marriage is not the thing for me. I think it was when I started dating. Yes. I think by the time I had my first boyfriend, I was like,
this is not what I want.
I am unsubscribing. No, thank you. Yes. Not that it was terrible, but I was just like, really? Is this all we have to look forward to?
Yeah.
The time you're looking at like, something here is
Like,
not
this
adding
is
up.
all.
The
This
math
is
is
it.
not mathing.
This is it.
I was like, I'm not seeing it.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing it.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, no, you know. I'm
You
like,
have to try.
Mom, it's not for me. And now she laughs because like, now here I am. Now here I am.
Yeah.
So yeah, around that time is when I started realizing maybe it's not for me. So I was like, I'll just do life. I'll try to do what I want to do, follow my ambitions. And so when I seriously thought now, okay, like, could marriage be a thing for me? I was like, it can't be what a regular marriage or what I saw happen, where there's only one breadwinner, where there's issues of abuse, where there's issues of emotional distance and things like that. I was like, no, I don't want that. I get the companionship. I want to be with somebody, but I don't want all these other shenanigans of like, you must. And I think I was also going through a rebellious phase also.
Yeah.
So I was like, no. But now, I think by the time I was now warming up to the idea, like we said, you and I have been friends for many years. So we also saw each other in a light where we saw each other's flaws early enough, before we tried to be nice to each other.
Yeah.
I think that's also somewhere where we dodged a
That
bullet.
authenticity.
Yeah, because you see, you aren't afraid to be an ass when you are saying stuff, because see, it's vibes, this Jules is like, you know, the filter wasn't up, the wall wasn't completely up. Yes, there's a wall for everyone, but it wasn't completely up as when you're dating somebody and try to put your best foot forward.
True.
Because you're not thinking of this person as a potential partner.
True.
Unimsetu.
Yeah.
So you can get away with anything. So seeing that in each other, I think, was good, because you're like, yeah. So by the time we are thinking maybe this can work, it was more like, we could try this. What does it look like for you? And I was like, it looks like this for me. It looks like this for you. Let's try it. Okay.
Yeah.
Kidogo sisi pale AG. Sarap. Kidogo.
That was the best day of my life.
Maya. It had better be. Let me just say on this one.
I have a few days that were the best days of my life, and they all tie at number one.
Oh my God.
And the first one was the first day I saw you.
Actually.
I hope I'm saying the right things.
No. It's not the first day you saw me. Let me tell you how gangster this situation was. Because you.
Yes. Me, Odor Jagero.
It was not the first time we saw each other.
Yeah.
Like, the story he tells me was when we were neighbors, and I think he needed something. I think he was sick and he needed to buy something from the shop, and I went to buy it.
Yeah.
And that was the thing.
That showed him that,
Whatever he saw there was like, okay.
I hear a lot of similar stories of men when women in their lives that they like, or like they have feelings for, it could be subtle, when these women show them empathy, because I think they move through the earth without anyone really ever caring in the littlest ways.
I mean, people like, okay, not to say because, dismantle the patriarchy.
Yes.
But
my goodness, I love you so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and also Ruto must go.
Yes.
Yes, I have said all the things. No, but on a very serious note, I think we don't allow men to be soft or to break down. I don't have the standing to say that men must be this, women must be this, because I also go against a lot of the things that I'm told a woman should be.
Yes.
I try to purposely
do that.
Yeah, and sometimes I am not in my authenticity because I'm trying very hard not to be in my feelings or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes. But I think we also don't allow men to be soft. We don't give them the space to really demonstrate their feelings. Because if we have, while men were being socialized not to cry, we were also being socialized not to allow them to cry. We were the gatekeepers. We were the ones at the gate saying, please, also you don't cry.
Reinforcing it
everywhere.
Yeah.
Any kidogo witness, that's gay.
That's a loser.
Any kidogo sijui what, like, uyo nifala. Like, any kidogo, anything, just, it's,
I don't want
no.
that one.
So you can imagine, and I love actually, shout out to Ngatia, by the way. We went to the show of Diverse, and there was this one piece. I'm telling you, he hit the nail on the head, by the way. If Diverse comes again, please go watch.
I must.
Please. But they put it in such a nice way where they can't do a thing without being judged. The same way we can't do it, it's the same for them. And I think that's the problem. We're not seeing each other as people who are in the same boat.
We're consistently fighting each other.
Because we are gatekeeping each other. We are attacking each other.
When we're supposed to be on the same team.
Yes. But if me, I get tired of rowing and I ask you to row, why should I be the one rowing? You are the one who should be. Why should that?
I hope that you're enjoying this program. Over the last 15 years, I have been working online for clients in America, in Europe, and all over the world. And that is why it pains me a lot when I see a lot of African brothers and sisters saying that they do not have a job. Now, this is the problem. A lot of people are trying to look for a job in 2024 in their own town, in their local area. Now, the truth is, there are no jobs in Africa, at least not so many jobs. The good news is that we have internet these days. We have a tablet, we have a computer, we have a phone, and that means that we can do a lot of jobs, and those jobs are online. That is why over the last 4 years I've been writing a book that is called Digital Goldmine. It is a book that explains to you how you can earn money online. The 18 hustles that I've chosen are basically for Africans, because what happens when you are doing online jobs is that payment is usually a problem. So these 18 side hustles that I have put together in this book, you can be paid very well and very conveniently. Okay, so the book is only 1,000 Kenya shillings. That is about $10. You can buy it in Kenya using paybill number. You can buy it online from anywhere in the world using a credit or a debit card. All the information about this book is in the description below. And if you have a brother, you have a wife, you have a husband, you have a friend who is sitting at home and watching Netflix, please do buy this book for them. If you are the one sitting at home and watching Netflix and have nothing to do, please buy this book and your life is gonna change forever. Because I have been doing this online and I've been traveling and I've been enjoying myself and having a lot of fun. So thank you very much, and now back to program.
So we are gatekeeping each other, we are throwing things at each other, we are attacking each other for whichever benefits, whatever that looks like, we are doing that to each other. And I think we also must be aware of that. Because, I mean, if we are honest, when is the last time any woman, any person dating a man, any person dating a man, let's put it like that. This man has come and he's completely broken shut. You can see, wacha ile ati ameenda sijui kukunywa wapi ama amepotea 2-3 days. You can see this person is completely broken. But you're like, apana. You guy, uko sawa, amka, you're a man. And so he has to stand up.
Kwanza that line for you're a man.
You're a man. And yes, there is time and space where you need to remind him that you can do this. But where is the time for him to actually break down fast? Wacha tu aishe tu kwanza, and then now we start.
Yeah.
When was the last time?
That's a good question. When was the last time you did that?
Yes.
For the men in your life?
Because and then it was a conversation. You can have it. We are like, even amongst friendships, and which I am so thankful for my female friendships, where you can be like, and yeah, you can talk about stuff.
Yes.
You can come and break down about stuff. Anything flies. But for these guys, it's not. And they can be tight. Like tight. Like this person will
like
come
20 years deep in.
My friend.
Yes. But hata they don't know anything about each other.
Nothing.
Hata ujui kama beshte yako amelala.
In a way, there's a beauty to it. But also in a way, it's like, guys, so where do you go? Because you can't go to your fellow man. You can't go to the woman you say you love. Where do you go?
Wako stuck in limbo.
Me, that's what I'm saying. Thank God for my female friends. Me, I know I can call Sharon and tell her, babe, I am in shambles.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
So
she will ask me, have you pooped? Yes. Have you eaten? Yes. Have you drank water? Shida ni gani?
Yeah.
We can talk about things.
Yes.
You know, you have to do the check. Have you slept?
Yes.
Then you talk about things. You see.
Yes.
But I don't see that happening a lot in male friendships, and I wish I saw it more. I wish I saw men showing each other affection. I wish men didn't see affection as equals to sex. Because that's the only way they've been, like, I feel like they've been, like...
The only intimacy they get is when they are having sex. They don't have intimacy anywhere else.
I mean, why do you think, body count, you are wrapping up on who? No, because he can't be hugged by his fellow man. He can't hug his guy and just break down and cry. He can't do that.
Yeah.
He'll feel somewhere about it. His boy will feel somewhere about it. If
everyone's seeing them.
If it is even allowed to get to the point of a hug, watch it once happen. If
it allowed.
If he can do one no, if he can do happen.
Yeah. Shida.
So where is that?
The grace, the space for them.
And so because they haven't been shown that, how can we expect them to show us something they don't know? And I don't mean it's our job to teach them, because also you must also try yourself. Pia wewe jaribu. Hata wewe learn. Hata soma kidogo. Angalia TikTok. Kidogo.
Soma kitabu bana.
Kidogo. Yeah, but otherwise, where is that, so that you can learn to slowly take that step? Even for the men, slowly take that step.
Yes.
Yes. To say that intimacy does not always equal sex, because I think that's what we have taught men.
Yes.
That for you, the only way you can experience true deep intimacy
is when we are naked.
Is through sex. It must be that I am doing something to you. I cannot receive. Because you are told male energy is to do things to things. And us, we are just to be allowed to be done.
Receive.
Evil too. And if we stick to those ideals, we have problems. So.
We have to allow, like, for there to be spectrums. Like, I'm supposed to do this, but I can also do all these other things. So let me ask, what are some of the ways you hold space for your husband? What are some of the tangible ways? Because, because we, like I keep saying, these things are easy to say. When it's words, it's, show space, show grace, be or what, 100%. Do what, Zico. But like, what are some of the tangible ways? Because essentially, as women dating men, we're in this space where there's communication breakdown. We're consistently stressed about my man. How do I tell my man that I want him to talk to me? And sometimes, I learned that these guys, other than not being socialized to be emotional beings, there's also just the fact that they know even if I talk about it and then like they love to be solution providers, and like they have to get things done. They want to, I'll open up to you, but then my issue is still there. Like, so what are some of the tangible ways that we can hold space for men, that we can show them, I'm here, I see you, I feel you, I care? How can we do that?
Well, for our situation, like what we've done, and I think again maybe that's also just like how our relationship has developed, but let them free to go. Like give them their space that I don't have to be in. Like I don't have to be involved in every part of his life. And I don't want to be honest. Because there are places where I'm like, what am I doing here?
Now,
why am I watching football? Why am I interested in what's going on? I don't care. Really, I don't.
Yeah.
But he does.
Yeah.
So when he's home and the boys are there and they're playing FIFA to reach ungodly hours of the night, I'm like, that is you time. Go and do you. Enjoy, have fun. Me, I'll be over here binge watching Criminal Minds.
I like that response, because I feel like as women we do the opposite.
Yeah, because we want to be with him. We want to watch the game with him. And again, so I mean, the part of it also gets to know like the personality of the person you're with. I mean, there's also that. But for me, I think one of the things is that we give each other that space.
Yeah.
He's not in every part of my life. I'm not in every part of his life. We could do better in that regard, yes. We could like more like be like, this is what's happening, this is what's happening over here, this is what's happening over here. I think we could do that better, yes. But he knows he has spaces where I don't have to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one. And then two, when he does open up or break down or something has gone down, I try, and this one I try. I have to tell myself purposely not to spit down on him when that happens. It's not to tell him like, no, you should feel better. Like, no. Like, just listen. Like, what exactly are you wanting from me? And just tell me. Because I think we imagine that somehow in a relationship, we do not.
We're supposed to guess.
We just need to guess.
You're supposed to know.
I am sensing
anger.
I I am sensing you need. No, it's like, okay, yes, you can get the cues that I'm angry, or yes, I don't want to talk to you. And when I tell you I don't want to talk to you, it doesn't mean I never want to talk to you. Because also, like, sometimes also me, I'll catch a feeling because I also don't handle rejection well. So I'll be like, you don't want to talk to who? As who? Excuse me, have you seen what? How? Yes, there are times I also don't want to
yeah.
So
but when it's the other side,
exactly.
Yeah.
So as much as you're willing to dish out, please also know it is going to come back.
Yes.
But yeah, so like be in, like, listen, like here actually. Is it listen or here? Because there's a difference. Listen
Yeah.
is the word. Yeah, and be like, okay, this person is really in a vulnerable state right now. They are saying something. It's not about how I feel about what they are saying. Sometimes you also have to, as also another friend of mine famously say, like this one-liners your pal always gives you.
Yeah.
Get over yourself.
And don't take everything
First,
personally.
Actually, it's the same thing you said. Like that spotlight thing. Sometimes it's not about you. So if you remove the you from the equation and you just see, what's going on here? That. And it is important for that to be reciprocal.
Yes.
And
I think when you're able to give it out, you're able to recognize it when it's happening to you, and it makes communication easier. You see, all the questions I'm asking you, it's like they're just coming back to authenticity. Everything you do has to be you showing up as yourself so that everyone can give you this space to be yourself, and also you're able to give other people the space to be themselves without any sort of anger. And something I think a lot of us women do is we take things personally a lot. It's like mtu asipokuongelesha nika ananifanyia, ananilenga. When it could be ananyamaza tu juu ako hivyo. It really has nothing to do with me.
It's quite possible, yeah.
It
has nothing to do with you.
I tell myself that every day. Every day I have to remind myself it has nothing to do with me, because if it was about me, I would have been inserted intentionally. Yeah. They would have used my name. They would have said, Roberta, I don't want to talk to you. Yeah. So that's a really important question. Now I want to get into intimacy.
What kind of intimacy?
But first, let's talk about yoga. So I recently just got into yoga this year.
Welcome.
My friend has been begging me to start classes with her. And slowly I did, and I really, really love it. I've been enjoying it and I love it. So maybe you tell me, how did it start for you? What does yoga do for you? Why yoga? What do you even do? What is it about?
First of all, yoga is big.
Unajua watu nimerealize most times when I tell people I do yoga, there's this tone of it's not as hizo ni zile vitu za wasichana zile fun until you get in an actual class and you're like, what the hell?
What happened?
What
just went on? Oops.
Sorry.
Okay.
So tell us.
Yeah. So how I got into yoga, like most things, a friend of mine was involved, Sharon. So I had just given birth, and the trauma of the way your body just decides, I am no longer interested in you. Because by the way, that's something else that people don't tell people. Yeah, pregnancy is like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful.
It's blessings.
Oh my gosh, you're bringing this human life into the world. Oh my gosh. True.
Yeah.
But also,
there's the
other side.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, so anyway, I had just had this wonderful human. Her name is Maya.
Oh.
And Maya was just there vibing. And then now, so sometimes that happens during pregnancy is that as your body is making space for the baby, because, organs chipangeni, sometimes your ab muscles separate to create space for the child.
Yeah.
So it's not I know it sounds bad. It sounds very like slasher movie bad, but it's gradual.
But yeah, your body was made to do it.
Yeah,
so.
it does the do. So anyway, it separates the ab muscles completely. And then, so the baby grows, come on. So sometimes it doesn't fuse back all the way. Or it doesn't do the way it was supposed to happen. And it's a thing called diastasis recti. If I have butchered the
name,
like
like that.
Get to come back here. So that is what happened.
Yeah.
So in fact, I remember like after giving birth, like the people wrap shukas, and that was not working for me because I was in incredible pain. I was uncomfortable. Just like, why am I doing this? And I just had a baby.
You have to breastfeed and take care of the baby.
All these things, I was like, baby, I'm not doing that. But so it was to the point where you could actually I could fit almost like my entire fist through. So you could feel the separation, like you could actually feel it. So the doctors are like, actually, let it heal on its own. Wachana nayo. Yes, we can think of like, oh yeah, surgery, blah, 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 blah. But yours wasn't that extreme. For some people, it goes extreme where surgery is necessary. For some people, it's not. It fuses all the way back by itself.
Okay,
so that's what happened. Diastasis recti. So what do I do? That was 1. 2, I wasn't sleeping. So
how come?
Sharon was like, it just wasn't you. Well, you have to watch this one. You're like, when will she stop?
You're
breathing?
scared,
When
yeah.
will she stop what? I have to go and do this. And then it's always like that new mom thing, or you have to do all the things.
Yeah.
All the things.
Yeah.
So it was very that. So I wasn't sleeping well. I wasn't resting. My milk supply was low. It was just anyhow. So Sharon was like, you need to sleep. I was like, yeah, I need to sleep. Okay. So you do yoga and then you go to sleep. Like, yoga will help me sleep. I'm like, yeah, yoga will help me sleep. So I started doing yoga to help me sleep.
How did you start? Did you start on YouTube like
is
most
big.
of us?
YouTube is
Okay.
in this internet age, YouTube has all your solves all problems.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I went on YouTube, did some classes, and I was like, actually, and while I was searching that, I found out that actually there is a thing called postpartum yoga for people who have this diastasis. So
It's a thing.
I was like, sleep, and I get my stuff back together.
Perfect.
And we did that.
Yeah.
And so after a while, I was like, these classes, like, it's nice, but it's not where I need to be. And that's when I wanted to do an actual physical class. But of course, mimi na ushamba zangu, I was like, now where in Kenya do I find these white women doing yoga? Because that's what I thought.
Yeah, you thought yoga is a white people
It's
thing.
a white woman thing that you just go like, so breathe in deeply and exhale.
I think that's what people think yoga is.
I was that person.
Yeah.
So I understand. When people say that, I'm like, it's okay. I don't catch a feeling because I was that person.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was like, I had to go get to a class. And that was when I learned about Africa Yoga Project. And so, yes, I went there, did some classes. Lo and behold, they're actually looking for somebody to work there. And I ended up applying and I ended up starting to work there.
Wow.
Yes. So it started as a class. It ended up as a job. Then it became where I met 2 of my best girlfriends. And then it also became a whole lifestyle thing. So it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
Yes. That Tuesday, it was advanced yoga. Me, Ushamba, I didn't know it was advanced yoga. So I'm in the class, people are standing on their heads, people are standing on their hands, people are doing that.
And you're like, what's happening?
And when you look to your left, you look to your right.
And everyone is doing it so
and you're
effortlessly.
Like, what is going on? Where are the limbs here? And the teacher was like, there's no such thing as watch pose. I was like, oh. Anyway, so we did the class anyway, and it was, I still was saying it was the worst experience of my life, and it was also the best experience of my life. Yeah. So yeah, anyway, so we did the class, and after that, it just stuck. And then I started practicing, and I was able to do my teacher training, became a yoga teacher, and started teaching, and I continued practicing yoga. So that's how I got into yoga.
I love that. I love that. My next question was going to be how yoga has changed your life, but you've mentioned a few things like,
it's in a lot of places.
It's
in a lot of
not
places.
only your health, it's given you friendship, it's given you money, it's given you like all these things.
Yeah.
So, what would you say to people who they want to try it out, they don't know where to start?
So I mean, do your research. I feel like, I personally believe yoga is good for everyone. I feel like everyone should try a yoga class. But see, I'm biased. Because I'm a yogi.
Yeah.
I'm very
That's
biased.
something a yogi would say.
I mean,
totally.
Yes, of course, go and do yoga.
Or even someone who's just done one class. That's something they would totally say to because it changes your life in so many ways. I've realized I become happier, more patient, kinder. Because all the lessons you learn through the things you put your body through, it's very psychological and emotional as well. It's not just like, it's a whole experience. You become a new person.
Yes. So yeah, definitely go do yoga class.
Yes.
But I would say research it for yourself.
Yeah.
Because there are people who have hang-ups about it. There are people who be like, hey, Maze, it's a religion, it's some weird
It's some
stuff.
white people shit.
It's some white people shit. But then, contrary to popular belief, yoga actually has roots both in India and
Africa.
In Africa. Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, do your research. But yeah, so do your research. Find a class, whether it's online or in person. Go, experience it for yourself. Try a few, because there are also different styles of yoga. When people say yoga, there is that one for you. We're just like, just do that. And then there's those ones where you go and you're like, I
which class is this?
You feel you're like, what just happened? You know, where it's physically intensive, even sometimes emotionally intensive. Like there are times on my mat where you're like ugly crying, like, very that. So so go and experience, try different styles, do some research, so that you're at peace stepping into that class.
Yes.
I would say make sure whether you're doing it online or whether you're doing it in person, make sure, try and find out to the best of your ability that it is an actual certified yoga teacher.
Yes. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yes. Yes, please. Ile venye unaweza, uliza. Do some stalking. Ask some questions.
Yeah.
And make sure this person you're practicing with that online.
So kuna wakora wana danganya.
Unajua uzuri na ubaya wa yoga, it makes you feel things. You're like, I want to help. I want to, and after you've been practicing for so long, you say like, I want to show others this beautiful thing. It doesn't, sometimes, okay, there are evil people, yes, even in yoga. But like, I would say have it with somebody because when your teacher training, by the way, see jokes. You have to know how to hold space for other people.
That's a whole therapy.
Because that yoga session is not about you. It's not that,
okay, so today we're going to do some yoga to do our lower belly fats and to do whatever.
That's not just it. Because you have to be there for the person. It's the person who is attending class that the yoga class is for. That person's experience is what it is for. You as a teacher need to think, okay, how can I best support this person on the mat? That is what is a successful yoga class. It's not about, can you put your legs here? Can you bend over there? Can you do what?
The least relevant.
Because even by that yoga,
it.
the physical stuff you're doing is only one tiny piece of yoga. In fact, if you look at like the sutras and it's like even the sutras, I think the physical poses are mentioned, is it once or twice? Out of 100 and something, it's only like once or twice because that's the body. But now you see, the body is such an important tool because that's how we experience life. Which is why a lot of people have a lot of hang-ups about yoga. It's either they liked it so much that it was like, what is going on here? Or the experience and be like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Or they're like, they don't want to deal with that. Or they're like, it's like just a straight, I feel something about
Too much.
Yeah. Because if you think about all the trauma you've experienced in your life, some level of that trauma happened on a physical level. But we don't address it at a physical level. Not to say that you shouldn't do your therapy, talk therapy. No. It should be alongside that. That if a traumatic thing happened in your body, same way trauma entered your body, allow processing of it to happen also in the body. And that's really important.
Because it's wholesome.
Exactly.
It's everything.
Exactly. So when you've experienced, especially like for people who've gone, again, trauma in the worst possible way, their body was the site of such violence. So when you're showing love to a site of such violence, it feels like, it's like
something's...
It's not. And so there's a resistance, you see. And so that's why you need to take time. You need to ease into it. You need to take steps. And that's why you need to work with somebody who knows what they're doing.
That makes a lot of sense. So as we're wrapping up.
Remember how long?
56 minutes.
Oh, no, I have time for another question.
Actually.
I wanted to talk about intimacy and, because that's my whole thing.
Yes. This mic is a hater. Just cannot stand
doesn't want you to prosper.
Doesn't want you to prosper. There we go. I hope you go back to... Okay.
So I wanted to ask about it's just in tie with authenticity, because I love how this conversation has progressed. It's gone from being able to show up as yourself authentically, and then how it ties into your relationships, how it ties into your finances, the way you start earning money, the way you show up in your friendships, the way you show up in parenthood, the way it affects every aspect of your life.
Yeah.
And something we don't talk about a lot as Africans is sex. This topic is taken a lot as taboo, and I love moving through the world trying to demystify the conversations around it, because especially for women and us girls, we don't know much. We don't know as much as we're supposed to, because sex, like you said, is always something that mostly is done to us, or that's how we take it. We don't really live in our power of sex is something I can want myself. Sex is something I can also do to someone else. Yes. It can be about me as well. I can make the decision to have sex. as women, that's not really how it is. And even I realized for myself, like, before I turned 25, all the sex I used to have was because I had a boyfriend who wanted sex.
It was the thing you did.
Yes, it was something you do because you have a boyfriend. It was never necessarily, leo nataka sex. It was until maybe a year ago when I'm 28 is when I started to be like, oh, kumbe sex is something I can want. Kumbe sex is something I can think about and I can go out and get and ask for or decide. So my question is, this authenticity, how does it how do you feel it ties in to you showing up as a woman, and how does it tie into just you as a girl? How do you bring your authenticity into your sex life? How do you have this confidence to show up as a woman who's able to be sexual, a woman who's even able to talk about sex? And what are the influences of it in relationships with men, like me, your husband? Like, like, is it, how do you become this woman? It's just like the authenticity question, but sex is a whole different ball game because already we are not even supposed to be talking about sex.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Loudly.
It's a whole thing, actually. In fact, actually, I have a few things to say.
Tell us.
This is from a very, again, I really need to stop watching. No, actually, no, I don't need to stop watching. So there is a very, very, very fabulous drag queen named Mohat. And they were doing this thing, you put makeup on people, and she's saying, the messy things in life, okay, I'm paraphrasing. So Mohat, if you see this. I'm paraphrasing, but she said, it's the messy things that are the beautiful things.
Yes.
Anything that is messy is considered a beautiful thing. Think about it. Eating is messy. Ooh, it's a messy thing. Emotional vulnerability, it's messy. Sex, if you think about it, it is quite messy. In some cases, quite unsanitary, actually. If you really think about it.
Nasty.
It's like just nasty. But it's nice.
Very good.
It's a vibe. It's like, yeah. Yes.
Yes.
So, I think it's that.
Yeah.
And I think in our effort to become very, quote unquote, civilized,
perfect.
we are very
pretty and prim.
We are very
yeah.
Sissy, come on. That I don't think that flies in a sexual situation. Let me put it like that.
How do you mean by that?
Yeah. It's following the path of least resistance. The same thing you're saying with authenticity. If you really enjoy something, why should you be shamed for enjoying something?
Yes. Especially when it's a natural thing.
It is a natural thing. It's happening. Your body has been primed for it. In fact, from let's just start even from evolutionary biology.
Yes.
Before we even start saying, sijui, and then sijui which emotions, let's just start from biology.
Yeah.
Our entire learning of biology is to create other copies of us.
Yes.
Copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste.
Yes.
And there's a mechanism that allows us to do that.
Yeah.
So there is a biological imperative. Yeah. Okay, good.
That's even beyond our own decisions.
Like that's just the lizard brain saying like, oya.
Time to do some sex.
Bebes, where are they? So there's that.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we have the rest of the mass of the brain. Now whatever build. So there's the reptilian one, and then there's this rest of it that helps us focus as functional members of society. And then there's the rest of it where it's like, okay, there are emotions. There's all these things. There's a body involved. There's all this happening. So, another shout out to Doreen, by the way, who's been on the channel.
Okay.
And it's like, sex is it's a wonderful thing. It's really awesome. Like, have you thought about
magical?
Sex? Have you really sat down and thought
on the deeper way?
Like, before you start thinking of like, hey, I need to call Nani, sijui friend of who, sijui situation of who, blah blah blah. It's an amazing, beautiful thing.
Yes.
It's something you can do with your body that takes you places. Oh my gosh. Yes. The thing is, when we start putting something called shame, shame. And unfortunately, our first introduction to sex for many of us
has a lot of shame.
Shame, upon shame, upon shame. Shames, auntie, uncle, cousin, auntie, brother. All of the shames have arrived. I feel like that's a quote of something. Oh, that's really. Is that thing on Netflix? It's a Big Mouth Award.
Yeah.
Shame.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
So, so if your first experience of something, I felt something, And then the minute you want to go and tell your mom, you're like, hey, sitaki umalaya kwa hii nyumba. Imagine. You don't even understand what has happened.
Yeah.
But the first thing you've been told ni umalaya. So where? How? Where?
Yeah.
You see? So the question is,
it's so interesting when you put it in words, because these things have happened to us. This is exactly how we were first introduced to sex.
Yeah.
But you know, we never really talk about it or like go back and say, yo.
And plus, the people you trust to talk about it will tell you nothing.
Either. They won't tell you the truth.
They won't tell you the truth. They tell you the story, or they tell you the ideal. And I think that's something that we need to stop doing. We need to stop talking about sex as the ideal. Okay, yes, there should be the ideal. I mean, let's not get into unhealthy. Let's not get into places where we are hurting ourselves.
Yes. Definitely,
for sure. But also, let's tell it like it is. For many of us, we didn't enjoy our first sexual experience. It was like nani alikuwa nadai.
Hata you didn't know it.
You're
was
like, hey, and then it's like, okay, and then it was done, and you're like, so now.
Now what's that? I remember the feeling of, what was I supposed to feel from that?
Like how is this actually supposed to go? Is this
normal? Like, why do people want it so bad? Is this it?
So now you start asking yourself that question, and then you go like, lakini sisi ni nani to do too. You go and search and see people doing crazy things online, and you're like, I need to be doing more of that.
Yeah.
And so now sex becomes something that you perform. It becomes, yes, step 1, we do the touching. Step 2, we do the kissing. Step 3, we do that. So it's like a formula.
As opposed to it being an experience.
Exactly. Which is why and I think that's why in our culture, yes, we have shamed sex, but we've also made sex very inaccessible. This is what I mean by that. 10 minutes. Okay. We've made it that number 1, there has to be a formula. It has to be. We've taken away the feeling side of it. We are trying to separate the sex of this one, the sex of that one, the sex of ule nani, the sex of all these different kinds of things, where it's all happening in the body of one person or 2 people or however many people. You see, so I think it's important for us to tell it like it is. I am both excited and dreading the day I have to have this discussion with my daughter. Because also I'm not like she's going to tell me something, I'll be like,
And she's probably as bold as you are, so you can imagine.
Because I want her to tell me, but at the same time, like, do I want to hear it? But I'm like, I want her to come to me, and I hope I can tell her or steer in the right direction.
Yeah.
That when it comes to sex, number 1, you have agency over your body.
Yes.
Number 1, it is yours. It is the one you have. You're experiencing the world through it. So be in control of what that feels like. And if something is not feeling good for you, if something makes you feel yucky about something, wacha the shame of umeambiwa. Like in your own self, you feel hata ndani yako, you just feel like you feel you need a shower or something.
That's an answer.
What are you doing?
Yes.
No.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and also have fun, by the way. It's never that serious. See, we must calm down. Like, okay, so yeah, we're about to have sex now, so we should do this. Have fun with it.
Yeah. I wish we all got like such steering I personally wish. The reason I do what I do is because I wish I had someone to help me through it. And I've really enjoyed this conversation with you. I really felt...
We had fun.
This has made me feel very seen and very hard and very like... I'm not the only one. You know, these things, these are things we actually go through as human beings consistently. And I love it. Next time I'm going to ask you deeper questions about our sex life.
About our sex lives. Okay, yes. I shall procure consent for what we can share. Post the YouTubes.
But for now, I really enjoyed piquing your mind and getting to hear about, everything. It's really beautiful. I love listening to women, especially women I see myself in, or women I look up to, or I'm trying to tell you are there. That's what. So, people of the internet, I have been Odor Jagero, filling in. Thank you for the other Odor Jagero. Thank you so much for listening to us. Please send me some coffee send me some money so I can buy my lovely wife everything she wants. I need to give her my card and just let her do everything she wants all the time.
I support this message.
And my beautiful Maya.
Yes.
So yeah, I think we're gonna end the conversation there. And you guys should follow me. My name is Roberta Bobby. Follow me on Love and Orgasms, where we talk about intimacy, love, relationships. You can book me for one-on-one sessions as well. And yeah, that's it. I think. Is there anything else you'd love to say?
What do I say? Enjoy life. Find your little joys in life. I think sometimes we are so much in the doing of things and the trying of things that we don't enjoy. So whatever small enjoyment you can get out of life, please get that. Do that. Take care of yourself. I don't know what that looks like for people, but take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, I should plug something. Yes, don't forget to buy the book, Jagero's book, please. Yes. Details should be on the description, I believe.
Yeah.
For the yoga people, yes, we have a retreat coming in Watamu, September 12th to the 15th. So if you're game, yes, details will be available.
Thank you so much. Toodles.
Toodles.